Good morning. Happy Monday. We're going to give it a couple more minutes to allow some people to jump on this morning, and then we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and get started in like 2 more minutes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started, I think. Good morning. I think there's a few of you on that probably already know me, but in case you don't, my name is Bree Shirley, and I am the Digital Marketing Coordinator for Tucker. So I work on the corporate social media pages, the Facebook page, the Instagram. I do a little blogging, and I coordinate writers for our content, etc. So I do everything social media. And I work closely with Brian Mayo, who does, we kind of coordinate together for content ideas, and he's kind of my counterpart along with Daniel Williams in the digital marketing department. So today is kind of a recap, replay of what we did a few weeks ago on positioning yourself on Facebook. So before you get on there and you start wanting to brand yourself and you really want to find your voice on Facebook versus getting on there and having yourself branded and ready to go on that front first. So we really want to position yourself. We really want to find your voice before we get crazy, if that makes sense. Everybody will be muted during the broadcast or during the webinar. So if you have a question, go ahead and type it in the questions box, and then I'll be able to answer those as we go. But everybody is muted just because it makes it a little bit easier for everybody to hear. Okay, so positioning yourself on Facebook. First of all, can everybody hear me okay? If you can't hear me, go ahead and write that in the questions box that you can't hear me, just to make sure that I'm live here. Okay, so the first step in positioning yourself on Facebook is your vision. So who you are, what do you do, why choose you, and your why. And to break that down a little bit further, who you are. So how do you want others to perceive you? So what are you posting on Facebook that will show others who you are? And then what do you do? How are you going to show what you do without physically saying what you do? So instead of posting, 2 or 3 times a day, every day, about, hey, I'm a realtor, I work for S.C. Tucker, can I help you buy or sell home? What are you going to post to show people what you're doing or what you do for a living without physically saying what you do? Because I mean, let's be honest, at the end of the day, you don't want everybody to perceive you as a salesperson only. We are in the relationship making business or relationship marketing business, so we want to build those relationships with our clients, and we don't want them to just connect with us on a sales level. We really want to connect with our clients on a personal level. And then why choose you? So why are your friends, followers, the people that have liked your business page or that have friended you on Facebook, why are they going to choose you out of all these other realtors in Indiana? So how are you going to get those people to move from the trust section to the try section? And by that, I mean, we really want to create TOMA, which is top of mind awareness, TOMA. And within TOMA, you have like 6 different tiers. So you have a no, you have a like, you have a trust, you have a try, and then you have so there's 5. No, like, trust, try, and you buy or use, I guess. So how are you getting people from the trust? So now they trust you, but how are you going to get them to kind of try you? And what are you going to post on Facebook, and how are you going to build that, build your reputation, I guess, as being an expert in your field. And then lastly, your why. So everybody has a why for doing what they do. And if you tell me that your why is, I just want to make money, you're not digging deep enough. So you really want to find why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you passionate about real estate? Why are you, passionate about helping people buy their first home, or the empty nesters, buy a new home or downsize? So what is your why? And you really want to dig deep, and you really want to find what that is, because it's different for everyone. It's not just to make money. I know that's kind of the root of all entrepreneurs, but that's really not the reasoning behind what you're doing and why you're spending, 10 hours a day working real estate. So actually that why, it's a really good, if you haven't gone live yet, and we'll talk about that later kind of on in the series, maybe not so much today, but explaining your why and your passion and why you're doing what you're doing, that's a really good, quick going live, because that kind of opens you up and it makes you vulnerable, and it shows people what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, so you want to get your name out there, and there's several different types of ways to do that. You can blog, so if you're a writer, or if you do, I know I had met with somebody at Carmel that does restaurant reviews, and she likes to meet with the owner of the restaurant or the manager, let them know what she's doing. She'll go to the restaurant, she'll try it, and then she'll write a review on her blog. And then she'll also post that on Facebook as well. So blogging is a great way to get your name out there. Creating TOMA, which I mentioned already, which is top of mind awareness. Interacting and engaging on social media. This is huge for your algorithm. So Facebook is engagement centric, meaning it revolves 100% around engagement and interaction on Facebook. So yeah, you have a Facebook, but you really need to be social on Facebook, which is hence, social media. And by doing that, that helps Facebook push your post from your business page or your personal page to as many people as possible. So if you post something, for instance, like every Monday, we do a Motivational Monday on our business page, on the corporate page. So we do that, and let's say I get one person that likes that. Facebook's not going to continue to push that out to more people. So they might start with a handful of people, so 5 or 10 people that they're going to show my post to. And if I don't get any interaction or engagement on that post, they're not going to show it to anybody else. But let's say I get, 5 likes, a couple comments, they're going to open that up to, 50, 100 more people. So in order to really better your engagement and interaction, you want to be engaging with your friends on your personal page, as well as responding back to anybody that's engaging on your page, if that makes sense. Joining Facebook groups and introducing yourself. So we all have groups on Facebook that we're a part of, but we may not be active in those groups. So I know I'm a part of several different, like, Indie Moms, and there's the Whitestown Moms, which is where I live. So I'm a part of several different mom groups, and there for a while, I wasn't engaging in them. I was kind of just lurking, which is what they call people that just kind of browse and like and not really interact with any of the posts. And when I started doing that, now granted, some of those people are my friends, like the indie moms. There's a lot of people that I'm really friends with on a personal level that are also in that group. So when I started interacting in this group, my friends were getting notifications that I was commenting or that I was posting or that I was, interacting. And in turn, which I know it's hard to understand, but in turn, my personal engagement on my personal Facebook page has increased just due to me being an active person on social media, because at the end of the day, Facebook controls who sees what and, when they see that post. So in order to get your post out there further and get more people to see that, you really want Facebook to see you as a relevant source. And in order to do that, you really have to be social on social media. So developing a weekly content calendar will help you a ton, because you'll time block some, social media either on, every day. You'll, take 30 minutes to an hour a day, maybe during your lunch, and you'll plan on what you're going to post that following week at the very least. You can plan, a month out or 2 months out if you want to. But by doing that, and then by scheduling those posts on your Facebook business page, or getting a third-party scheduler like Buffer or Hootsuite, you can do that on your personal as well. That'll help you not be so stressed out, I guess, and in posting weekly, because you really need to be posting 2 to 3 times a day, every day, on your personal and business page. And it's not all personal and it's not all business on either page. You really have to mix it up. But by time blocking that planning out during your week, you're going to be able to develop that weekly content calendar and be able to know, okay, so on Mondays, it's always going to be this, and on Tuesdays, it's always going to be this, and then you can kind of fill in some additional content as you go. Next, you really want to monitor your online presence. So you want to keep an eye out on posts and photos you're tagged in. And if you don't like that post or photo that you're tagged in, you can delete it from your timeline and remove the tag. So in Facebook, I just saw this the other day, and I haven't researched much about it, but there is a way that Facebook can see or find other photos that maybe you're not tagged in, but people have posted of you. And for somehow, Facebook is a brilliant source, but they're able to find those photos that may look like you or that are you, and then you can choose whether or not to keep them up or not. So I haven't researched much about that yet, but I will try to do that so I can get some answers for you guys. Google yourself. If you have not done that yet, that should be the first thing that you do when we get off this webinar today, because everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is getting on Facebook and searching for you. That's the first place I go when I meet somebody new, is I want to see who they are, what they do, where they live, meaning what city they're in, and kind of I want to get a grasp of who they are as a person. And everybody's going to do that because they're trying to find something that they can connect with you on a personal level. And I just met with an agent from the South Side last week who said she met with a customer or client, and they're like, "Oh yeah, your kids are so cute," or something. I can't remember exactly what her words were, but she asked her client, "How do you know that?" And she's like, "Oh, I saw you on Facebook." So, I mean, you really have to be aware of what you're posting personally and what people are posting about you or tagging you in. Because at this point, if you are marketing yourself on social media, or really if you're not, I mean, people are still going to search for you on Facebook, but you have to be careful of what you're posting, because it could come and bite you at the end, or you're not going to have enough things on there for people to connect with you on, or you're going to have too much of something that people are like, nah, that's not going to work for me. So you just kind of have to be positive, stay away from those hot buttons or hot topics that people, like to post about on your feed. So you have to be careful of that. So set up a Google alert, and that will help you see if anything's been posted about you as a person, or your name, like Mary Smith. You put in that Google alert, you can set that up, and you can watch what's been posting about you. And if you don't like what you see, you might need to fix it, and we can help you with that. And there's been a few agents that, they might have the same name as somebody else in a different industry that may not be what they want their clients to find. So we've helped her, and the more you post and the more social media networks you're a part of, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, etc., that will help you move up on that Google search, so that that something that you might not like what you see isn't so far up on the Google search. You as a real person, the one that you want your clients to see will show up first before, what you don't want to see. So we can help you with that if, that is an issue. And you want to improve your online presence. So you want to be posting consistently 2 or more times a day, preferably twice. 3 is a really good number. So morning, late afternoon, and late night, depending on, what your circle. If you have a circle of, young moms or older moms, the time of day might be a little bit different on when you're going to have the most engagement on what you're posting. And then blogging, if applicable, if you are a writer, if you can write, that is a really good way to improve that online presence as well. And then be consistent with your posts there, so 2 to 3 times per week, ideally. And then be a forever student, so you always want to be learning. You always want to stay up to date with Facebook changes and updates, listening to podcasts, searching YouTube for Facebook tips. There you can get in a YouTube coma, like I like to call them, on searching tips on how to go live on Facebook, posting ideas for Facebook, etc. I mean, there's a huge dark hole of information on social media, on YouTube, that you can watch. And then if you're an expert now, be an expert in 5 years. So don't just, learn everything that you can right now, and then in 5 months or 5 years, you kind of have slacked off because you're not sure what has changed or, what's going on in the social media world. So it's not going away. It's going to be here forever, if not be more prevalent in the coming years. And it's a cheaper way to market yourself as a real estate agent. I mean, everybody, if you're not on Facebook, you need to be, basically. I mentioned earlier that you don't want to, excuse me, on your personal page, you don't want it to be all personal, and then on your business page, you don't want it to be all business as well. And I came up with this number. I really didn't come up with it, but it's not written anywhere in the Facebook, rules that this is out there. But I like to do like an 80-20 rule. So on your personal page, 80% personal, 20% business. And that 20% business is really business. So I have a new listing. I have a closing with these, congratulations on the closing of your new home to your clients. I'm going to be at an open house this weekend, etc. And that 80% personal can be what I like to call a passive aggressive marketing. So if you're sharing blog posts from our Tucker page or our Tucker blog, or you're sharing Facebook posts that we've created, like the graphics that I've created that are branded, if you're sharing that to your personal page, that's a passive aggressive marketing, because it's not specifically saying, hey, I'm a realtor, I work for FC Tucker. It's more so happy Monday or happy first day of March with Tucker branding on there, so people can associate you with Tucker and know that, oh yeah, she's a realtor. And then on the flip side, on your business page, you want to be, I say 80% business and 20% personal, but you really need to not push so much business on your business page. It really has to be just a social network. It just has to be a social place. So you need to be relatable, and you need to be personable, and you need to be posting things that aren't salesy 100% of the time, because people will unfollow your page, and then that defeats the whole purpose of having, that marketing source for your business. So you just want to, by sharing the passive aggressive marketing that I talked about, the graphics with the logo on it, or any of our articles from our blog, that's not, specifically saying that you're an agent. That's just showing that you work for Tucker. So that's a way to kind of push some personal in there with the business, because our blog is consumer facing, and we're trying to get it to be everything and anything that you want to know about Indy and Indiana or Indianapolis or, Carmel, Greenwood, etc. So if there's something that you're passionate about, or that you come across on our blog that you're really interested in, share that, because that kind of moves into personal as well. I think that's it this morning. Do you guys have any questions? If you do, go ahead and write them in the questions box, and we will get those answered. This will be recorded and will be posted. I think Lisa will send this out later this week for you guys to rewatch if you need to. The next webinar will be March 19th, so in a couple weeks. And we're going to talk about social media currency, which I will explain in more detail during that class. I don't want to get into it too much right now. And then the one after that will be in May, and that's maximizing your social media engagement. So I'll have tons of tips that you can use to maximize that engagement and interaction on your Facebook. And then I think we have another class on business page versus personal. I get that question every single day of, Bree, do I really need a business page, or can I just use my personal? So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about going live later on in this series, and then using social media for client testimonials. So we have a lot ahead of us and a lot of really good information to help you guys with your social media marketing. And then as always, I'm always here for one-on-ones. If you ever have any questions that you need answered in a more private setting, feel free to email me and we can get that on the calendar. My email address is bree.shirley@talktotucker.com. So if you guys have any questions aside from the webinar or want to meet one-on-one with me, I'm here to do that. Okay. Well, if there aren't any questions, we're going to go ahead and sign off this morning. So thank you so much for joining, and we hope to see you guys in May. Or I guess March 19th is our next one. Have a good day, guys.